In today's Sharp Saturday video, we're going to take a look at a search and rescue knife that I picked up at Blade Show this year while I was doing my kind of usual walk around and look for something interesting walkthrough of the show. And this is from a company out of Australia, Tactica, and I thought it was a really cool knife, but also the sheath system is really interesting. I think you're going to like that. Talking about the Tactica K220 search and rescue knife. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for today's Sharp Saturday video, where it's Saturday. We take a look at something sharp. And as I said, today that something sharp is this Tactica K220 search and rescue knife. And as I said, I was just cruising around the show looking for something interesting, and I saw this. I recognized the name. I used to get some Tactica stuff in battle boxes. They're a company out in Australia. But anyway, they came up with this really cool patent pending sheath that it's just, I'd never seen one like it, so I thought you might be interested in it. So I was talking to them about it, and they said, hey, you know what? They sent me home with this one to show you, so that's what we're going to do. But first, as usual, today's words of wisdom from the Bible. Today's wisdom is from Proverbs 4, verse 23 in the New Living Translation. These are good words to live by. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Also, a big thank you to my friends at Hog Holsters for making today's video possible. Hog holsters are absolutely the most comfortable, most concealable holster I have ever used. Once I found Hog holsters, I just quit looking. I've been carrying my pistols in a Hog holster, I don't know, 10 years at least now. John at Hog Holsters has actually become a friend and a channel sponsor. Hog Holsters stands for helping Americans wear guns, and they're 100% made in the USA down to the very screws in the clip. And also, no one size fits all. Every single Hog holster is painstakingly handcrafted to fit your pistol exactly. So, no one size fits all. And if you happen to go to their website and you see a place where you think it might be advantageous for you to enter some sort of a code, if you type in Survival on Purpose, all one word, you'll be glad you did. So, Hog Holsters helping Americans wear guns. Thanks again to Hog Holsters for sponsoring this video. Now, let's talk about this knife here. And you can see this thing right here. It is a very interesting looking blade. It's called a search and rescue knife. I'm going to bring you down to the old tabletop here and give you some close-ups, let you see what's cool about the knife and what's so cool about this sheath. You want to? Okay, here is, in its patent pending sheath, the K220 search and rescue knife from Tactica. And let me just show you the knife first. So there is a quicker look at it. Let's talk about this thing. As you can see, it's a little unusual looking. It's designed to be a search and rescue / dive knife / river knife. You pretty much use it for a lot of things where it'd be very handy. So anyway, the overall length of the thing is 6.4 inches, or if you're still stuck in that old metric system like they probably are in Australia, it's 163 millimeters. Has a 2.6 inch double-edged blade of 65 millimeters and a handle thickness of 0.6 inches or 14.7 millimeters. The blade thickness in the center here, because it's got a pretty thick center, is 0.1 inches or 2.7 millimeters, and it weighs 5.1 ounces or 145 grams. It is full tang, as you can see. It's full tang blade of 420HC stainless with a black PVD finish. Talking about a couple of things here. So it has this chisel tip here on the end, and that is not completely sharpened. I mean, it wouldn't feel good to get poked with that, but that part is not sharp. But it's pretty close. So, but it's also very strong. You know, you can use this thing for prying or work type stuff. Then it has this fine edge here and the serrated edge on the other side with a little bit of fine edge at the end of it. 2 rope line cutters here. The handle is got a big hole in the middle of it, beveled down, so it helps you with your grip. You can really get a good grip with it like that. And then also has some jimping here and on the edge of the end of the pommel here, which has got a big old lanyard loop in it. And fits pretty good in my hand. I have more medium-sized gloves, so I can see you can get a good grip on it and really do some work with this thing. And then what's really cool, what really caught my eye was this. This is the Tactica patent pending twist lock sheath. And let me show you the back of this thing first. It's got a nice belt loop here. You can just slide your belt through it. It's got lashing loops. You can lash whether anything you need to lash. You can lash it onto a pack. You can put a leg strap through here. Use it for a dive knife. And then this even comes off. You can put this on Molly, like so. Can you see that? Open up there and slide it on your Molly, and you clip the screw this back on, and it'll be 100% secure. It's a nice flat little screw. So very, very easily multiple mounting positions for this sheath. But what's got my eye about it is, so push in, hear that snap? This sucker's locked in. It ain't coming out. No matter how the sheath is oriented, upside down, backwards, whatever, it ain't coming out. But to get it out, you simply twist it and pull it out. That's it. You clicks in to lock, it's in there. If you want to get it out, you just twist it just a little bit, pulls it right out. Lock, unlock. So I thought that was cool because it's a very handy way to do it without having to, no friction fit, no nothing. So there's nothing that you got to overcome other than just twist it a little bit. And it's pretty easy to do that when you're pulling it off your sheath. You just pull it out. It's no big deal. So I thought that was cool. Very cool. This knife is designed in Australia and manufactured in China. Has a lifetime warranty, and the MSRP is $70 or $59 if you buy it. The only place I could find it was on eBay, actually from BattleBox. So they must have had a bunch of these things left over. So that's it. But you can buy it directly from Tactica as well. That's Tactica K220. Now, that's all well and good, but you know we're all about the science here. So I think we ought to start with the absolutely pretty much internationally standard sharpness test, the redneck sharp test, and we'll see how she does. Honestly, I'm not optimistic. It doesn't feel redneck sharp, but let's just see. I could be wrong. Let's get the old testing medium over here. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got some hair there. Not a lot, but we got some hair there, so we'll give this a... we won't call it redneck sharp. We'll call it like city boy sharp. How about that? And then I'm gonna get some paper now. I've got my notes. We're pretty much done with these. Let's just see if we can cut some paper with it. Okay, so it cuts paper pretty good. Okay, maybe sharper than I thought. Let's try the serrated edge. It's not really designed for that. What else could we do with that won't screw the white balance up on the camera? Okay, so we're down here at the old stump top, and thought we'd just try to see a few things with this knife. Again, this is not a bushcraft knife. This is a search and rescue knife, so it's really designed to be kind of a jack of all trades and master of none. So prying and cutting. So, but just in the interest of science, we've already tried the redneck sharp test. Let's try the line cutters here, and I've got the biggest line I think will fit in there. Certainly this will cut like fishing line and different things like that if you're snagged on some kind of fishing line. But let's just try it on this. And did okay. So, and we can try the, if I can do the short one, the serrated, and see how well the serrated does. Well, if I don't cut my hand on the other side of the blade, there, okay. We'll do it this way. Maybe it'll stop bleeding. And it works fine. So yeah, got a little blood there. All right. So moving along, if you're in a search and rescue situation, you might be in a situation where you need to build yourself a fire because you might be out overnight. So, you know, I like to test that. So I think what we're gonna do something a little bit different though. We're gonna try to see if we can split this thing with the chisel tip, because man, that double edge is apparently got my attention. Let's see if we can split it like this. All right, that works. Be right back. Come back with a duct tape Band-Aid. As I said, we're gonna try to work on the fire prep abilities of this knife and check it out. So we just carve little feathers with both the straight edge or smooth edge or fine edge or whatever you call it, the non-serrated edge and the serrated edge. Let's start with the non-serrated edge. And you gotta be careful with this thing because you're not gonna get a lot of thumb push there. So again, not really what it's designed for. The thermocell is about to be overrun by mosquitoes here, I believe, but we're going to endeavor to persevere. For testing purposes, that'd be enough. Maybe have a look at that. Those are some Shirley Temple curls there. They're pretty good. the shortness of this knife really makes it easier to handle. Now we're going to try the serrated edge. This is if I'm holding this, the serration, right-handed, the serrations are down, which is not ideal for carving feathers. Usually, I think my friend Magnus Andersson over in Sweden is really good with the serrations, but I think he's left-handed, and I think it really does make a difference. So we'll try this right-handed with the serrations and see if it does us any better. Sometimes serrations make really good little fire starting shavings because they're easier. You know, they kind of cut the curls up lengthwise. They're not as fat. But I'm not doing as well serration with the right hand, and I'm probably not nearly as good with my left hand, to be honest with you. But we'll give it a shot because I am right-handed, and we'll see if we can do anything with the left hand now. And maybe if I just hold it still with my left hand and pull it with my right, which is, I know, kind of like getting lazy. I should be better with my left hand, but also I'm just being realistic. It does okay, but honestly, I'm better with the straight edge, the fine edge. So we'll carve those off there and carve these off here. And that may be enough to get us a fire going there. But the other part of this is, I don't see anywhere on here, other than possibly this tip, that is going to even feel remotely sharp enough to strike a ferrocerium rod. By the way, I mention this now because I forgot to mention it when I was doing the tabletop thing. The handle scales are G10 on this thing, and they have a really good grip. I wear medium gloves. It feels okay in my hand, but again, man, that double edge, you got to be careful. So let's try and see if I can use this part without cutting myself. And it's really you're not going to do it either. It's not going to be enough to get a spark. So certainly we could use the edge, no doubt about that. Let's be careful. Probably going to dull it worse than it already is. But we're going to endeavor to persevere. But as always, I'm going to try to bring my old favorite fat wood in here, because it really wouldn't be a survival on purpose knife review without some fat wood. So let's see if we can carve us off a few little curls here, just to keep it consistent. I like to scrape the fat wood, and we're going to try that in a minute. We're going to use the serration side to scrape the fat wood and see if we get any good scrapings there. I imagine we will. So yeah, not bad there. Now, obviously we're messing the edge up a little bit, I'm sure. But that's the thing about serrated edges. Sometimes they'll do the like utility cutting even when they're not super sharp. Having said that, as far as trying to get any kind of sparks off this ferro rod, I'm just going to have to use the edge, and I'm going to just deal with it, and let's see what happens. We'll use the serrated edge. No, we better not. I'm going to cut more grooves in the ferro rod. So we'll try the non-serrated part up next to the tip. Okay, we just used the edge itself. So I don't think it hurt it too badly. We were cutting into it, and it got it done. So not the best tool for starting a fire, but I've often said this is my second favorite ferro rod. The first one has a little plastic vial of butane attached to it, and it says Bic on it usually, so you should have one of those with you always anyway. But I want to see if we can get it with this. So now, what else can we do to maintain the scientific integrity of our testing process? Chuck Norris can order a Big Mac from Burger King and get one. Okay, well, that's the fire prep portion of the scientific process. And as you know, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science, and to that end, maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility. And one of the tests I like to do on all fixed blades, which this is a fixed blade, is to test the aerodynamic balance using our balance orientation and rotation device right here. So I think it would behoove us to do so, don't you? And as always, you know, proper scientific methodology. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ooh. Okay, maybe we can try again. I'm gonna blame the sun in my eyes because I didn't wear a hat. So We'll try it with the hand up here and see what happens. These little short ones always give me fits. A little better. I always like to whackerize a couple of them to test the integrity of the build. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. By golly, we're testing the integrity of this one. Okay, I can leave it like that. Okay, so that is a hopefully concise look at the Tactica 221. Did I get that right? I think I did. Search and rescue knife. And just my final thoughts on this knife. For what it's designed for, which is to be a really compact way to have a blade that has a pretty good bit of functionality, I think it's okay. Certainly not up to par on a couple of things. Not great for building a fire, which is not what it's designed for. It is sharp enough to cut you, and it's a pretty cool design. What I really like, I really think the sheath design is pretty cool. So you snap it in, and that sucker is not coming out of there unless you want it to. So that's really what drew my eye to this knife. I really like that design. I think it's really innovative. It's patent pending. So, you know, for a emergency carry-all knife that you have this certainly is a good cutting tool. You can pry with it a little bit. You can do a lot with it. Just to know that even strike a ferro rod if you don't mind using the edge. So, and it's maybe if I had enough time to work with it, I could prove that it's even balanced better than I was able to do so. But it's kind of a cool little knife, very compact package. Thanks again to the folks at Tactica for sending me home from Blade Show with this so I could test it and show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.